First order of business is minutes, to approve the minutes on the agenda.
Commissioner?
She's letting them in. All right, so I'm making a motion to approve minutes from last meeting. Support?
All for it?
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. It carries.
All right, thank you, and appreciate the patience of everybody to go quickly through this. We do have some information about the Corridor Improvement Authority and Business Improvement District work of our Economic Development Department. We really want to just get this information out so that we can keep the conversations going that we have started with those entities and continue a conversation that we anticipate flowing through this year into our mid-year performance report and into the budget conversation. So we wanted to just let you all know where we are today. Don't expect a lot of discussion, more of a pushing information out, and we can always circle back later. With that, I'm going to ask Sarah Ranero to come up and run through these slides.
Thanks, Kate. All right. So we've got quick background on both the Corridor Improvement Authority and the Business Improvement District, overarching umbrella, what we can do, and then breaking it down for you, what we have going on in the city across 6 different corridor improvement authorities and 1 business improvement district. So corridor improvement authorities were guided by Act 57. We've got TIF plans across, again, 6 different districts that outline priorities for each of the CIAs. Overall goals here are what you would expect. To promote vitality really in our corridors across the city. I'm going to run through these pretty quickly just given the time, but this is our first one with North Corridor. This corridor improvement district was established in 2012. It spans 2 business districts, Creston and Cheshire. It's got a fund balance which comprises of both TIF revenues and general fund? No. TIF revenues and operation balance? I'm sorry. Fund balance, yes. Sorry, I'm overthinking this. Okay. And then the priorities in North Corridor are really public infrastructure, maintenance with their bioretention islands, as well as events, including lights after our Creston After Dark and Lights on Creston. Southtown Corridor Improvement District, this is our biggest CIA. It was established originally as Madison Square in 2009, amended to Southtown in 2016. It spans 6 different business districts, Boston Square, Madison Square, Seymour Square, Eastern and Franklin, and South Division. Sizable fund balance there, over $1 million, with the priority projects being again, streetscape, well, not again, I would say this is a nuance here, so I just want to spend a minute. But beautification in the district, including landscaping and lighting, as well as trash tipping and street cleaning. And this is one of the nuances between SIDS and BIDs, that mechanisms within the Corridor Improvement Authority to manage a priority like this, so.
Excuse me, Ms. Ranero,
Yes,
are there
please.
hard copies of the presentation? I don't think everyone here has them.
I'm not sure.
It's not, okay,
I got one somehow.
okay. Okay, we're fine. And just again, to be mindful of the time that we
Sure.
have. Okay.
Sure. Okay. We've got Uptown, established in 2009, about $500,000 in fund balance. Significant point here is just that Uptown has created a nonprofit, Uptown Inc., also has the bid, and that's why you see administrative costs there really noted as a priority area. They've spent a significant amount just in capacity implementation here in Uptown. Michigan Street, established in 2015. Fund balance $866,000. Priority areas, hopefully you've heard of Poutine Week, which runs adjacent to Art Prize, I believe, and corridor branding across Michigan Street because of the transition from the medical mile down to our neighborhoods. South Division, established in 2018 across 2 business districts. Priority areas, which I feel like we've heard in a number of different platforms here, is just traffic and pedestrian safety along Division and alleyway activation.
There
subdivision grant, Bill.
Thank you. West Side, established in 2014, amended in 2021 across 3 different business districts. Again, sizable fund balance here, really focused on saving money for gateway signs that will be at the Bridge, Fulton, and Leonard cross streets across the river. As well as funding pedestrian safety. They've been working with our mobile GR team about just being able to safely cross those corridors as well. So again, these corridors are really driven by the tax increment revenue. We've got about $4.5 million in total revenue and 25 across the 6 districts. And again, the main projects that you see here highlighted, I've mentioned these, so I'm just going to jump here. With exception of the facade grant improvement program. This I just want to call a quick attention to, given our application into the state for revitalization and placemaking grants. Because we have existing facade programs across the 6 districts, we were eligible to apply for that money. Which is the first time that we've seen the MEDC do that. So that will leverage on top of our grants where we provide between $5,000 and $30,000 across the districts towards facade improvements, additional state dollars potentially into our city. So we're hopeful that that application is well received, and that ask was about $1 million across 3 projects, very sizable, a bit more than 30,000. So hopefully that can be a pretty big impact upon any award. This slide hopefully looks familiar as well. This is more specific, 68 projects across the 3 different pie chart allocations there between public art, facade, and streetscape enhancements. This just gives you a sense of where the dollars are going across the districts. Business improvement districts. So we only have 1 in the city. I think that at the start of thinking about corridor improvement districts within the city, the idea was always to pair bids across the districts, and really Uptown was the one at the moment that was established in 2013 is really able to do a bit more in their district because of that pairing with the bid, which can ultimately pay for different things. Also help create a nonprofit, Uptown Inc., which the city has a seat, so I sit on that board to help make sure that implementation is happening. Let's get the goals. So this assessment is actually making its way through commission. I think we had at the last City Commission meeting just a notice for public hearing in March for the Uptown bid special assessment to continue an extra 5 years. You can see about $130,000 in last year assessment revenue for Uptown. And the focus here is really their ambassador program and beautification efforts across Uptown. So just a quick highlight here between what the boards are really doing and what the city's doing. Historically speaking, the city has really taken an administrative role within the corridor improvement authorities and have really relied heavily on the boards to spend money, pass plans, and implement with their corridor managers. And I think that leads to this slide, which is what's next. There's been a lot of discussion around CIAs since my arrival. I've taken time to hit each of the districts and the board meetings, talk with each of the chairs about what's working well and what opportunities might be here for increased efficiencies and more collaboration across the city and the districts. The city manager, thank you very much, last week also took time to sit down and meet with each of the board chairs, and we heard the following themes across that meeting with specificity around cleanliness and beautification, leveraging more partnerships to pursue additional funding opportunities, more cross-collaboration between departments, to help share best practices. So think of, Creston trying to figure out wayfinding signs and maybe Michigan corridor wanting to rip off and duplicate that. How can we just make those points easy across members of the teams? And then finally, the appointment process at the city and just how it's tying back to those boards and making sure that we're helping inform the boards that they're ready for new people that might show up at a meeting. I want to go back quickly to just the first bullet here. I'm flying here. So the point on this first slide, and I think we've heard feedback with the meeting last week with the chairs, is just that there's been some question as to how the city can maybe support differently these boards as their volunteer boards. And so I think that there's varying themes there, and my focus is really helping make sure that these districts get the dollars spent down. I don't think that this is a circumstance where we necessarily need more dollars, and maybe everyone won't agree with that, but I think that this is more about helping execute and get the priorities, winning on the priorities, and how we're basically helping do that in a more collaborative manner, more efficient manner. And so we hope to use the budget process, which is the third bullet here, as a possible platform for more discussions on how we can possibly fund or evaluate how we're investing currently differently. Does that make sense? Okay. Oh, yeah.
Mayor, let me, just a couple of things. Thank you, Ms. Raniero,
Yes.
for the summary. Again, when we met with them, I heard for some CIAs, they don't have bids or nonprofits in the areas, and so some of the basic services that we provide for refuse, for example, they would like to see, since it can't be paid out of CIA, if we can have more custom refuse services that will help to address some of the trash in the right-of-way that's not just put out on trash pickup day. The other thing that I think I also heard very clearly, at least from some, is more input from the CIA on recommendation of future appointees. While the prerogative is the city, as the mayor and the commission, they would like to have more input on recommending either candidates to apply for these boards and to be considered. And then the last was on the expertise. This is kind of akin to what you were saying about the land bank. There's different levels of management within for the CIA. Some people have shared managers. Some people have a dedicated part-time person. Some are depending on city staff. And so as the request to do more than just basic administrative compliance stuff, I think trying to do more strategic thinking about how to grow those corridors, connect with neighborhoods, there may be a need for more resources, either on the city side or within that authority. And so that goes back to Ms. Raniero's point. If it's, some of the funding within the CIA could be used to pay for the administrative staff, but also there might be ways in which we plus up some staffing here at the city of Grand Rapids.
And thanks for the summary. I think that this is something that we can consider, and like the whole commission's not here, but fundamentally, anytime you're using a tax capture mechanism, you're favoring areas that are cool and hip and that are attracting new businesses, and so you can have a virtuous cycle there. But if that means you're neglecting other neighborhoods because they haven't had the critical mass to take off. That flies in the face of what we usually mean when we talk about equity. So I think that equalizing funding, or maybe having some floor funding for some of those SIDs for resources, is certainly a conversation that I welcome, but not now. So thanks for that presentation. Is that the end of our agenda, or did you want to give us brief updates on the 3 projects, Kate? I did see that I had 3 projects.
Apologies, we have John Overman here, just going to hit a couple highlights on the Development Center report.
Yeah, actually, in the sake of time, the report has been submitted with this agenda, so if there's any questions on it, I'm happy to answer at this time. Otherwise, I'll wrap it up.
I'm good. Any questions from anyone else? All right. Well, that gives us 4 minutes. I don't know what we'll do with the 3.5 minutes between now and when our next meeting is, but thanks, everyone.
Good job.